This is the 2018-2019 Wrestling Rules Clinic for the state of Florida. FHSAA, Robbie Linderman, Director of Athletics, and Jeremy Hernandez, who's in charge of officials for the state of Florida. We're really happy that this year we have a lot of brand new rule changes that are really going to help our sport. And first thing we want to do is we want to introduce our officials and our wrestlers that are going to help us demonstrate some of the new moves and the new rules.
Hi, I'm Jeremy Walton from Sunshine Officials Association in Pinellas County.
Alex Labar, Mid-Florida Wrestling Association, Orlando, Florida.
I'm Matthew, wrestler at the University of Central Florida.
I'm Justin, University of Central Florida.
We're using college wrestlers so we don't have infringe on any rule that would prohibit a high school wrestler from participating in this. These college wrestlers will be doing all of our moves and all of our demonstrations. The new rules for this evening. The committee clarified certain rules for certain situations. For instance, weigh-in procedures. Low-cut socks are going to be allowed in the designated weigh-in area. Now, low-cut socks are socks that are just slightly above the ankle bone. You cannot wear a pair of socks and shove them down. That would not meet the requirements of the rule. Special equipment. Again, coaches, during your pre-meet, the official is going to ask if anybody has any special equipment. The National Federation has ruled that the leg sleeve, which is being worn throughout the country, is not a legal piece of equipment. Illegal, it must have a knee pad sewn to it or attached to it. Extend below the knee and above the knee. Anything else, you can't wear it and put a knee pad on top of it. Also, it's the same thing. You cannot take it singlet and cut one leg off of it and wear it that way. That's not the way the manufacturer intended it for it to be worn. Therefore, that would be illegal. And again, coaches and wrestlers, when the referee comes into the locker room to have his pre-meet talk to you and he asks you for special equipment, this is the time that you need to tell him that you have something. Hair covers. They're kind of getting beyond what the intent of the rule is. A lot of guys are wearing head covers, have hair that does not meet the requirements, but it sticks out below. Now, officials, I'm telling you right now, you need to, if that hair sticks out, do not let him come on the mat. Take care of this in the locker room. It must be contained in that hair cover. If he comes on the mat like that, simply do the three things: charge him with an injury timeout, a technical violence, and he's not ready to wrestle. The new uniforms that we had last year, nationwide, we have zero problems with it. Which is the shorts that were designed for wrestling. We had no problems with injuries or anything like that. It worked very well. And the numbers increased throughout the country, so it's people wanting to wear them, so it's okay that it's happened that way. The committee fell short of telling you exactly what supporting points are, but what they did do that was extremely good is they took the terminology weight bearing away from a supporting points. And we're going to show many demonstrations here that now the new rules, only 2 supporting points, and they can be both of one wrestler or one of each of the wrestler. As long as they're inbounds or on the line, they're considered inbounds, and wrestling shall continue. And we're going to show a couple of demonstrations here on the boundary line of where we want the official to be and what he should call and what he should not call. What the committee has done is we have been able to increase the wrestling area without getting wrestling closer to the edge of the mat. They're always going to say we're going to err on the side of safety, and anything that takes you off the mat is dangerous for the officials, and we're going to err on the side of safety. Okay, what constitutes supporting points? Supporting points are part of the body that's touching the mat. I believe the committee did a really good job this year with determining what is going to be supporting points. Last year, it had to be weight bearing. This year they changed that. Now it's anything that is touching the mat can be considered a supporting point. It can be, and it has to be 2. So it can be one of each wrestler or one of both wrestlers. We have a little demonstration here. I'd like you guys. In this situation, we have actually the wrestler. There are 3 supporting points, which are their feet. Now, if the wrestler in the white uniform is pushed backwards, they are still inbound because there are 2 supporting points. Okay. Now we put him on the line. Right.
Both guys.
Right. Still inbounds. There are 2 supporting points. The wrestler in white is completely out of bounds, and we would make them wrestle in. But wrestling is, they're considered to be inbounds with this. Again, take another step with just the heel on the out one. No. Again, still, you would be considered inbounds because you have 2 supporting points that are on the boundary line. Out of bounds is determined by the position of the wrestlers and the type of action in progress at a particular time. In this situation here, the wrestlers have wrestled to a point that only a single supporting point of the wrestler in the white uniform is touching the line and in bounds, therefore they would be considered out of bounds. Under the new out of bounds rules, we're going to show you a demonstration here of how somebody would wrestle, get a neutral, end up out of bounds. The referee would indicate that he had a 1 point neutral. He would tell them by saying center that they need to move back in bounds and wrestling should continue. Again, this is increasing no stoppages in the matches. Okay? Here we go.
1 neutral. Center. Center, gentlemen.
In awarding a takedown at the edge of the mat, control must be established by there are 2 supporting points. 1 of each wrestler or 2 of each wrestler must remain in bounds. Again, you clearly see that you have a supporting point from each wrestler remains in bounds even though it's straddling the line. Wrestling should be allowed to continue. If neither wrestler improves, the referee shall stop the match and move them back to the middle.
Out of bounds.
This next sequence, it would be a reversal. It started completely in bounds. The wrestler in the black uniform would get a reversal and they would end up still in bounds even though they're beyond the boundary lines. The wrestler would have both feet or 2 supporting points that remained in bounds. Good. Good. There you go. Good. No action at the edge of the mat. An action is not nothing. No one is going to improve. The referee shall stop the match. It's not a decision, a determination of judgment. If there is no action, he shall stop the match. In this situation, neither wrestler is going to be able to improve. He should stop the match and start him again. 5, 2, 4, 3. Stalling in the neutral position. One of the new rules this year, a wrestler, if he backs directly out of bounds, he would be warned for stalling. The match does not need to be stopped. The official will tell him to move back in by simply saying center. If he does not respond again, there'll be an additional stall warning. He cannot back straight out of bounds.
Center. Stalling. Green.
Second situation, if a wrestler fails to let somebody back in by simply blocking him from coming back in, he'll be stalling on the wrestler that is blocking. And the third new rule for neutral stalling is a wrestler that drives somebody off the mat, just to stop the match. The whole intent of this is a stay on the mat type rule, and this wrestler is clearly driving him off the mat. He is going to be considered stalling.
Out of bounds. Stalling red.
In this next sequence, the wrestler in the back singlet steps out of bounds, but immediately shoots back in. This is not stalling. Clearly, the wrestler went beyond the boundary lines, but he immediately came back in bounds to shoot a takedown. This is not stalling. Stalling also includes pushing, pulling, or backing off the mat. In this situation here, the wrestler in the white singlet is actually going to pull the wrestler backwards instead of rushing in. This would be considered stalling on the wrestler in the white uniform. Action. This next sequence is something that happens quite often when the defensive wrestler comes to his feet and the wrestler, he actually grabs hold of the offensive wrestler's hand and will not let him release him. In all these situations, everybody's calling for stalling. The referee should be in the right position to see what's happening, and eventually, if he doesn't stop it, it would be stalling on the defensive wrestler.
Going green.
Under the new rules for starting, this is a situation where the official is out of position. This is not a correct position for the official to start in a neutral position. He's away from the wrestler. If there is a false start, and this wrestler was injured, the official may have been able to slow this down a bit had he been in between him. Now this would be the correct position for the official to be in. His hands would be inside, down, inside, with his hands, palms turned toward each other. If these officials, either one of these wrestlers jumped, he may slow them down a little bit. Good. But if he does, if there is a false start and he gets underneath it, go ahead, get it. And this wrestler is injured where he cannot continue. A recovery clock would be started at the end of 2 minutes. If the white wrestler in the white uniform is unable to continue, he would now win the match by injury default. In this situation, we have another trapped arm situation where the wrestler in the white uniform lifts him off the mat, traps his arm, and removes him, brings him to the mat with unnecessary force. The referee would be in the right position, but it's still a slam. He would declare recovery time and start the recovery clock.
Recovery time green, penalty slam, 1 point green.
In this situation, the official is going to move the wrong way and not be in a position to see that the arm is trapped, and when the wrestler lifts him, he will not be in a position to stop it, and he'll bring him down to the mat with unnecessary force. Since the official is out of position here. There you go, okay. On the new rules this year, the Nelson cradle is now an illegal hold maneuver.
The Nelson cradle is illegal by application when the top wrestler gets the near side half and a far side cradle. That is where that unnecessary pressure across that neck makes it an illegal hold.
The wrestler in white has the Nelson cradle on. Once he turns him, there's going to be a tremendous amount of pressure applied to the neck and his back. Go ahead and turn him. All right, bring him down.
Legal hold.
Some of the things we've noticed in the past that's becoming a problem is headgear being thrown, tossed, any possible way they can. So we're going to use the term that they aggressively discharge their headgear in jubilation or frustration or anger. Obviously spiking the headgear, throwing it down the mat is an unsportsmanlike act. Even in jubilation, if they throw it way across the gym, that's also unsportsmanlike. Point of order here is that we want the wrestlers to keep their headgear on until they have left the mat. What is control? This is something that most officials, we need to understand what it is. Control is the essence of wrestling. It's a situation of gaining, losing, or changing control. The officials must be aware of this. Near fall counts, we consider, if you watched the state tournament last year, we still have officials that are counting near fall way too fast. It's 1001, 1002. Most situations we look at a clock, the official has made 5 counts and we're only 3 counts on the clock. Slow down your near fall count. Cell phones. This is something that is dangerous to all of us. Your cell phones are anything that you do around the wrestling area, around the table, whatever you say, somebody on social media is going to pick it up and they're going to report it and you're going to look foolish. Make sure that whatever you do is in a professional manner at all times. For your dual meets, arrive on time. Come dressed. The first thing you do when you walk in, find the athletic director or the head coach. Find out where the weigh-ins are going to take place. Inspect that. Check the scale. Make sure the date on the scale is for within the last year. Make sure the weigh-in room is ready. Find the appropriate healthcare professional if they have one. Find out who's going to take care of injuries, blood time. Make sure this happens before you go to the locker room. Once you're in the locker room, it's all business. The first thing you're going to say, you're going to ask the head coach if his team is well equipped, well groomed, and ready to wrestle. If he says yes, then coach, you are now responsible. Ask for special equipment. Does any wrestler have any special equipment that I need to approve before we come? We don't want to have a problem when we get out there on the mat. So now is the time. And again, this is the situation where this leg sleeve, where somebody has put it on after they've been to the locker room visit, and now you create a problem for yourself. Coaches, this is on you. Younger officials, you hear people all the time, sell your call. Well, don't agree. Just make the right call. You don't have to sell it. If you're in the right position, make the call. They'll come to you. You need to be moving it all the time. The official that doesn't make the right call is the official that is standing still and the action goes away from him, and then he tries to do catch-up, try and make the right call. Now he tries to sell it, and ends up with the wrong call. If you make a mistake, simply man up and correct it. Again, it's okay to be wrong, but it's wrong to stay that way. Go to the signal chart, page 82 and 83. There are 27 signals. There's not 40, there's 27. Some of the signals we see all the time that are not signals. This, for instance, this is not a signal. We know what it means. You're showing the Red is down and green is up. From the out of bounds, so you're walking back, you always see officials. This is not necessary. They know where they're going to be. This is the only way you should ever point, is with a single hand. Your hand is closed up, that is the only way you should ever point. Green, you're down. It's real simple. You don't have to go through all that. Near fall situation, you always see officials draw back on the knee, they go like this. This is not a signal. This doesn't mean anything. We know what you're saying. You're saying these come in and out of near fall criteria. If he's in criteria, your signal is a count. Doesn't need to be any other signals. Go to the case book. On this section, referee. It's section 1, page 71. All we've gone over here is nothing but about the referee. This is all you have to read that, familiarize yourself with it. You'd be surprised the information that you find that one little section that nobody ever goes to the back of the case book. The rules book itself, when you're reading the rules, especially the new rules, go to the corresponding case number in the case book. There's a demonstration there or a situation that we've developed for you to help you interpret these rules. This is what it's for. Use them together, the rules book and the case book. The rule book is the same throughout the country. There's not a different one in California. There is in New Jersey. They're all the same rule book. Everybody has the same information. Last thing, the verbal commands that we want an official to use. There are only 4. Anything else you do, you say you're going to be coaching, right? You can say action, meaning that you want action, you want wrestlers aggressively moving in. Contact, you want them wrestling, you want them in contact with each other. Center, you're getting toward the boundary line. If you say center and he does not respond, it's a good, you have a tool in your toolbox. Hit it for stalling. They need to move in. If you say center, they need to respond to your verbal commands. And improve. If you say improve and somebody doesn't improve, you need to be warning somebody for stalling. On behalf of the FHSAA, we thank you for this. Hopefully, if you have any questions, you'll see my name and telephone number and my email address. You need to contact me. Feel free to do it at any time. Thank you very much.